Welcome everyone. We're doing what women do when they see one another. We are catching up. But I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit, like get us warmed up, and then open our space for some juicy conversation today. I know a few of you that are already here have either messaged me that you are here to listen, and please, 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 God, do not call on me because I don't want to talk about this, but I want to listen. And then some of you who are like, I have something burning inside me. Um, this month inside the collective, we had a shift. We had a plan, we had a topic, and life shifted. And a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, I probably would have freaked out. But because of our shared connection here, because of the message and mission of the collective, I was at such peace with it. I was like, okay, this other topic has really been coming up a lot. And so, what we're going to do this month inside the collective, and that we started last week at the soul session, is we're going to gather beneath June's untamed, delicious energy. And we're going to ignite a new story. We're going to ignite one that honors every part of who we are. We're going to crack open some of these old scripts. We're going to rewrite the narrative, not only of midlife, but of all these other things that we have. Whether we are standing at the threshold of working and navigating our aging parents, our evolving identities. Oh my gosh, the changes, perimenopause, career shifts, long-term partnerships changing shape, the sacred calls that so many of us are hearing to guide the next generation. And what does that look like? And how do we do that? All while, let's be real, carving out time to take care of ourselves, right? Because this is a season of a new becoming for us. And I know many of you are with me that we reject that this is a season of falling apart. Like we're not available for that narrative anymore. And that we see this really as a season of beginning, of becoming, and that we are now in a place where we can, maybe not 100%, but there is a part of us, a big slice of us that is so ready to return to our wildness, to return to that little girl energy that would run outside in her bathing suit and have a blast during the summer and would not come home until the street lights flipped on and life was wild and free. Like we have a desire to have that feeling while we nurture and care for the wisdom that has ripened through all of our experience. And so I'm really looking forward to starting this conversation and starting this exploration with all of you on how to move through and suck the marrow out of this powerful chapter with intention and fire. And as I said earlier, that there's a few women who raised their hands and said, oh yeah, sign me up. I'm all in. I want to be part of this conversation. So I will definitely call on them. But I also want all of you who are here with us live and that are listening to the replay to know that this is an invitation to everyone to unlearn the stories we've inherited about our aging, our ambition, our beauty, our worth, to unleash our creativity and our sensuality and our sacred rage and our joy. And that owning our truth and trusting our inner knowing without apology and explanation is our right. Is our right. And that when we remember who we are beneath the roles that we have collected, the hats that we're wearing, and we allow ourselves to root into sacred practices that really do help us clear and integrate and rise to that next level of becoming, that like there is so much magic there. And so many of us are leaving it on the table because we're stuck in the hustle. We're stuck in the grind. And so we're expect some soul deep conversations today, and again throughout the month, that we are purposefully honoring the thresholds that we're crossing, and that we are claiming that midlife is not a crisis, that it is a reclamation, and that we are not too much, we are not too late, and we are right frickin' on time. And that when we gather in our full flame, when we ditch those damn rules and we rewrite our narrative, and remember, we were never meant to be tamed, that we were never meant to do life alone, that we have this beautiful space where we can come together and gather, that like this is life here. So uh hello everyone that has come in the last few minutes. Let's officially open the circle. I'm so glad that you're here. This month our theme, if you've probably seen it, whether it's on an email or on the group posts or on social, our theme is unapologetically wild, wise, and whole. And we are here to start the process of rewriting the midlife narrative. And we're going to crack open some of those stories that we've inherited about midlife. And we are going to step into a space where we feel held and heard, and we can stretch into that wildness, and we can root into our truth, and we can listen to the wisdom of women who are in the thick of it, or who maybe feel like, man, they nailed it, or the lessons that they have to share with us. So I invite everyone to get comfortable. Let's, move around, shake around, close your eyes if you want, soften your gaze if you don't want to close your eyes, but just get into a place where you are not going to be distracted. And let's take a couple of deep, intentional breaths so that we can drop in and connect with one another. In through the nose. Breathing in wildness today. Let's breathe in our wild. As we're holding it, feel our wisdom. Mm. And as we exhale through our mouths, let's release what's not ours to carry. So breathe in wild, hold wisdom. Exhale what we're ready to release. One final big one. In through our nose, that wildness. Feel the wisdom in our bellies. And exhale slowly through our mouths, releasing what's not ours to carry anymore. As you know, as you've probably figured out over these last 12 months together, I love to sit quietly, and it's usually the morning of, maybe it's the night before, and think about a mantra or a saying or something that encapsulates what we're talking about and allows us to step fully into the moment. And I'm putting into the chat right now what I'd love everyone you can read it, you can say it out loud wherever you are, but this is what came to me. And it is, I am not unraveling. I am unleashing. I carry the fire of my wildness, the grace of my wisdom, and the power of my wholeness. I am right on time. I encourage you to read that over and over and over today, tomorrow, as many times as you need to let it land, sisters. Let it land. Breathe deeply as you're saying that. I am not unraveling. I am unleashing. I carry the fire of my wildness, the grace of my wisdom, and the power of my wholeness. I am right on time. And if saying that does not make you smile, someone needs another cup of coffee, because it is such a delicious way to wake ourselves up. So today, let me see, do I see Dr. Liz? I do. Yay. Okay. So today, I'm going to kick us off. We're going to have a chat with Dr. Liz. And so many of you have, over the last few months, heard bits and pieces of this fierce, feisty female's wisdom. And I'm so honored that she was one that raised her hand and said, oh, yeah, I have something. She is a modern day medicine woman and a sacred guide. She is multi-dimensional creatrix who walks the earth with sacred work. And it blends neuroscience, ancient wisdom, and somatic healing, all in service of helping us women come alive unapologetically. And in our conversation earlier this week, she shared with me something that was so beautiful, that she believes that every woman holds within her a wildly magnetic force. A soul's CEO is what she calls it. This powerful source to our radiance and our vitality. And she's here to talk us through how to access it. So let's welcome Dr. Liz and hear what she has to share about harnessing that inner brilliance and creating this extraordinary life that can be rooted truly in our sacred wild.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
that
you.
introduction, Deborah. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, wild women. Good morning, all you beautiful, beautiful women here that we're gathering with. I'm delighted to share today, and I'm excited to share today. And, I feel like, through this conversation that Deborah has introduced, I feel like I want to share some like a perspective that comes from not only my background, my training, and all the things, but also from an innate wisdom. And I'm somebody that has worked inside of the interdimensional spaces for a long time. And I trust deeply what comes in through those moments of intuition, of quiet meditation. And sometimes, like if you know me and if you're in my world, you know that also I find some of the most richest, holiest, most godlike moments when I'm on the edge. When I'm on the edge of where, comfortability lies, where the cultural norms lie, and all of this, because the cultural norms are the conditioning that have put women inside of boxes. So it's like if anyone's ever read Glennon Doyle's book, Untamed, right? It's Untamed, right? Right. I mean, like when her one line when she was just like, "I'm a fucking cheetah," like in that when
Yes.
she had that reclamation. I mean, still gives me chills when I even,
Same.
it's like she was just so on it where she's just like, these are cages, these where we all got conditioned early on to be tamed, you know? And so what I wanted to share today, a couple of things. And one is that it looks like all of us are pretty much midlifers, right? Like we're in this position of life where we might be going through the physical changes, which then of course are affecting the emotional changes, then are affecting the mental changes, and are definitely affecting our spiritual relationship. I mean, they are not separate. The body is the oracle. It is the thing that is corresponding to reality. And so that's why it's so important for women to be so in touch with their bodies and their feelings, because this is the map. This is the thing that creates our signal of communication to whatever it is that we're creating, desiring, all the things. But I wanted to cycle back to the midlife piece. So here we are. A lot of us are straddling two different realities. We're straddling the season of the mother. Whether you had children or not, it's still a season of mothering. You had specific wiring and specific hormones that were pumping through your body for a long time to make sure that everyone around you was okay. And everything around you was okay. It is a survival response. We had to make sure that our offspring were okay. And now, because we're in a more civilized society, we're making sure our offspring, which are our employees, our relationships, inside of our business, these are our children as well, right? It's the same energetic. But we're straddling this place of the crone. And this is like, it's weird. Like a lot of us, I know this is where I am. It's like I have one foot in each one of these worlds right now, and I'm aware of it. And I also have the privilege of knowing what's happening on a neurological level to make me go like, oh, this is all natural. So let me explain this just briefly and simply. So when you're going through this period of life, when you're like moving from mother into the crone season, you have all of these neural pathways in your brain that have been wiring you to go like, pay attention to everybody else. And then you get hormone rewards for that as well, right? So that's another reason why we can get really destabilized inside of our sense of self during this time, because you are your hormones. You are your hormones. End of story. So once those are shifting around, that's why our identity can feel like very confusing. But so you've had all of these neural synapses firing in your brain to be a certain way and to condition you to a certain way. And then all of a sudden you hit this part of life. And guess what? It all stops. All of those pathways that have been going out into the world are now going centered to you. It is about you now. And unfortunately, our culture disposes of women that are like beyond our prime breeding years. You know, it's just like blush those cheeks, get really cute, make sure you stay attracted to the male species, blah, 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 blah. Like, and once we say that that's actually not our priority anymore, we're pretty much dismissed. Unfortunately, in conversations like this can be rewritten. We can all reclaim ourselves, and we can all like put a stake in the ground that's like, you know what? I'm going to take this part of my life and I'm going to make it the juiciest. I'm going to make it the best. I'm going to make it the turned on. I'm going to just like freaking have it all, because really that's what it's about. That's why it's all coming back to us now. Those things, like there's so many women that hit this point and they do this, they'll have like a wake up, like a moment, an awakening where they're like, oh my God, like I've lost myself because I was so busy doing all these other things and making sure that everybody was okay. And then they start to connect back into themselves and like, wait a minute, like that's not how I want to do life anymore. Like, wait a minute, I still have like so much inside of me that wants to come out. And you know what? It's juicier than ever, you know? And it's like, if we go through the portal and we allow ourselves to get destabilized and to really start paying attention and really having the courage to say, I don't like this anymore, or this doesn't work for me anymore. That's the beginning. And then everything around us, because we've destabilized the identity that we've been associated with, we can then start crafting and creating from this much, much deeper space of wisdom and knowing and intuition, which are all coming in like by the buckets in this time, if we allow it. And that is a part of the portal where it's like many women that I work with and that I know, it's like we all have this thing where we're kind of like, yeah, I kind of just like to get really quiet by a river. Or, yeah, like my life used to be so externally focused. I was involved in everything. I was out 5 nights a week and I was doing everything. And all of a sudden it's like, no, 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 no. There's something in my being that's calling me in to something that is so much more sensual, so much more yin, so much more alive than anything that's going out around on outside around me. And so I'm going to be much more particular about who gets my energy, much more particular about what I engage in, because I'm in such a process right now of becoming into my second act that I can't waste my time and my precious energy and my precious soul spirit frequency into things that are not truly aligned for me.
Mm.
So there is a specific portal that we are going through that is massaging things, taking things off. Sometimes it's ripping things off, but we are getting worked in a very specific way by spirit right now. It might go quiet for a while. It might get really, really internal for a while, but there'll be something there on the other side that is meant to be birthed, and it's a spiritual birth. It can be something that has just been a deep longing, a deep desire. But there's something that in you, if you're a woman that's walking the spiritual path and is hungry for the medicine of this season, if you trust in your timing and trust in your becoming, it will come. And I mean, we all know the women, like we all have examples of women that have had these like rockin' second half of their lives, right? Like they did it, like they did the thing. Like they are like, and I love, of course, because this is more of my nature and my constitution, but I love the radical ones that are just kind of like, I just burned it all down and just like went for it, you know, like I did the thing.
Right. Right. Well, I would love, like, even whether you raise your hand physically or drop something in the chat, like how many of you have heard that whisper, that soul whisper, or that soul scream that is saying like, "Oh my God, you know, I've got this one precious life and I am realizing that there is part of me that has been so outwardly focused, right? Making everyone else priority, right? Like who else is feeling that? Because being a woman that's child free, there's always been a little bit more freedom in my day. Now I've had filled that time with all sorts of other things. And still in that, I hear this, I feel this. And it isn't only like, I feel like it isn't only inside the four walls where I'm living. I feel like it's with everyone, like everyone that I meet. And not that I've become selfish or self-centered in every decision, but I do see where I have to question, like, why am I acquiescing or abdicating my power right now? Like, this is something that I want. Why am I not going after it and actually having those conversations more with myself than ever before? I'm just curious who else out there is feeling that. Oh, Laura's got her hand up. All right, darling.
Yep, yep, yep.
You know, the Aries is always going to put their hand up first. That means Michelle Ward is about to throw her hand in the air.
Love it.
You know, to quote Jinnifer Murphy, who's also on the call, all my fucks have flown. They really have. And just the timing and the alignment of like going into my Saturn return and having walked through this fire so many times with Liz right by my side and Anna right by my side, like it really does take sisterhood and watching other people who have the bravery to really step, like it's scary. It's very scary to what, when all of my identity is attached to all these roles I've been playing, hustling to grow my interior design firm and being the person who financially supports literally every human in my life. Like, what does it mean if I step away from that? How is that going to impact, the people in my life who are relying on my income and my hustle to generate more business if I just go sit by a river? But my soul is calling me to just go sit by a river some days. I mean, I'm finding like these long, low and slow, quiet seasons. Like I am truly being curative about who I spend my time with. Like I only want to spend my time really with about 3 or 4 people right now. And that's huge. If you really knew me, you would know, like, I'm like the dinner party thrower and the one that goes to every networking event and the one that is like a fuck yes for all the things. And some days I do have that version of me on board, but more often than not, I'm really wanting just to savor the deliciousness, the flavor of me, Yeah. And so anyway, I just like, it's so helpful to hear you, Liz, always. Like I just hang on every word because it's like understanding it neurologically, biologically, spiritually, emotionally, all of that, all of those aspects that go into making who I am becoming in this season of my life. And no sooner did I say on this call that I have it all sorted out with my husband, that we're working it in our way, that I basically said, I'm breaking up with you. I don't want this marriage the way it's been. And so I'll date you for a while and we're sleeping separate. I need massive amounts of space to myself right now. I love this man very much, but I am also not willing to keep being the one that's holding up the entire universe on these shoulders. It's my time. And when we're made to be so wrong for being selfish and self-centered, that brings up a lot. So anyway, I'll say no more. I'm a fuck yes for this conversation.
Well, I think, Coni, I see you. Just 1 second. Liz, I think what cracks me open when you speak is the learning about my body, the learning about how my brain is operating, how the neural pathways are changing. And I feel like we're in this season and we are all alive in such a time as this with so many women that are actually studying what it is to be a woman, that are paying attention to a woman's body and a woman's brain and these changes. And I'm so deeply grateful for you, Liz, that you have invested your life in this calling because I think about the way that I'm feeling so differently. Just since you shared this with me earlier this year. I'm like, I don't have to fight this. Like, I don't have to be who I was. Like, this is part of the becoming. Those feelings, because I share with Laura, I have just my circle
Mhm.
and being by the water is like I can't not find water. Every week, every month, I feel like I'm searching, even if it's in my bathtub, right? That there's something about this season that is requiring that. And I love hearing that other women are feeling those things, that it isn't that I'm not alone in that. And so I deeply appreciate that. Um, Connie, what was on your heart, darling, in all of the things that are going on in your wild, wonderful, chaotic world? Oh my goodness.
Well, um, I'm definitely unleashing, and I am not in middle age. I've been through a few of these seasons. I'm in the later season, but what I can tell you is that I wish I would have known and this would have been part of my life when I was at middle age, because it would have probably been a lot smoother if I'd have been more reflective. And Liz, just great information. Um, I've got 3 open houses this weekend. And so I have been unleashing, sorting, getting rid of, being emotional, all of those things for about 3 weeks now. But this last week, it was really intense. And just hearing those words and how to let go and how to be, because the next big step is leaving this house that my husband passed away in, is going to be a huge emotional thing for me. So, um, but what I can tell you is that when you get past the middle age, then your life is so much better. I I cannot believe I have the life that I have right now,
Mm.
and I can't believe I'm in that space. And bring on, I'm going to be 77 in October. Bring on the 80s. I am ready. And this big move that I'm going to be making, I don't even know. People keep asking me, well, where are you going to go? And well, we're looking at property in Brookings, but between now and then, that's probably a 6, 9 months out. I don't know where I'm going. But you know what? I don't care. Wherever it is, it's going to be an adventure. I'll have more unraveling and unleashing to do, but life's all about adventure.
Mm.
And whatever anybody is going through there, believe you me, I went through it all. I can tell you that it's not fun, but at the same time, I'm really, really grateful for managing to make it through, number one. But number two, to be able to do what I'm doing and creating truly my legacy. So if you're doubtful and you're having a hard time unleashing, just let it go. Let it go.
Mm. That's
Mm.
so beautiful.
Thank you.
And that's I feel comfort in that, Connie. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I feel like I was having this conversation with my mom, who's 75 as well, and she was like, we just didn't have those conversations. We didn't and it wasn't that she didn't want to have those conversations, it's that there wasn't a place for those conversations, you
Or the
know?
Right.
language.
Or the language, Christine. Exactly. I mean, we've learned so much about parenting and even more about our bodies and there's so much more wisdom that we're carrying that, you know, um, when we hear it is all going to be okay. On the other side of this, there's beauty. And I also have this longing to not simply survive it. Like I'm ready to thrive through this season. Like I really, I'm ready. It's like I can feel my body is like, like it's so excited to just un unlearn
Yes.
Yes.
unlearn what I not and not
Yes.
even like unlearn what I was taught, unlearn what's like inside there just from generations of women who were oppressed.
Yeah.
And they didn't choose oppression, and I don't believe that the men in their lives chose to oppress them. I think it was simply the system that was in play while they were here. And that it's like these dark little corners of my mind where I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that, but why is Becky saying that to me again? Like, where did I didn't learn that from someone. That thought is sewn in to my fabric, and it's got to come out. Like, I feel like I do this on a daily basis where I like physically am pulling those threads, those feathers that are clogging up my mental health with these ridiculous thoughts and these ridiculous expectations that I have on myself that then inspire me to create unrealistic expectations for everyone else in my life and then fall down this, disappointment and frustration pattern. It's like, well, I'm thinking about all of you. Why aren't you thinking about me? And I'm like, wait a minute. Turn that around, girl. Right? Like, and I actually had this thought when you were talking, Liz, like I'm on HRT. And I'm wondering like what in that is like, is that creating even more of an internal battle for me? Because some of those hormones that were naturally whoosh, and helping me step into that new space, maybe I've muted it a little bit. I have to think about that a little, like how that's potentially impacting my walk through this season. I mean, I'm not leaving them because I don't want those hot flashes anymore. But but being conscious, right? I mean, I feel like what you're telling us is like be conscious.
100%. And I think that women need to choose their journey with HRT and how they manage. I don't even want to say manage, but how they walk themselves through, through their midlife and through menopause and all the things. I think it's a very individual choice. But I mean, as far as the hormones, I mean, it's more, that's the biological side, but I work really from the spiritual side. But I do have a background in what I have a background in, and I know what I know, but it's like, I can't not use the spiritual influences to be the most significant influences. And the thing that's so interesting, I don't know if I have a minute here. I don't know how much time I have here,
Please go.
okay. Well, here's the thing. Okay. So I work from this space that the body is the oracle. The body is the spiritual bag. I call it the skin bag, but this is the oracle to know, where, your truth lives, where desire lives, where your yes and no lives. And so many women live from here, from the head up. They think their way, they think their way through life. And sometimes they think that they're feeling their way through life because they're trying to figure out their feelings. There is no figuring out your feelings. Feelings is a body expression. Feelings are hardwired into your muscular system to move them. Every single thing that you feel goes into your muscles, which is why your posture changes according to your emotional state. You feel stressed, you're going to be like, ah. You feel amazing, you're like, ah, right? So
Yeah.
body is the oracle, and the biggest crime that is committed to women and girls is the first time that they are told to hold still when they're a little girl. Hold still, Debra. Settle down. Whereas if we let you have your feelings and stay moving and stay alive inside of whatever's going on with you until it was complete, your body would have the innate wisdom of how to feel deeply and correctly. But we're all shut down.
I think boys are shut down too, Liz.
What'd you say?
Bring the boys into this, but I mean,
of course, yeah. Anytime that we
boys are told to settle down too, for sure, because they're, at least when they're young, they're even more out of their minds than girls are, from my own experience as a boy mom.
Yes. Yeah, I see that with my niece's littles, right? She has a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old is a boy, and he definitely is moving around a lot more. Like he's always moving, 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 moving. Um, but when you said that to me earlier this week, Liz, about like when we're told to settle down or sit still, I spent some time thinking about that. Like, when was the first time I heard that? I can't pinpoint exactly when I heard it, but I do remember one thing that my grandma, my Grammy, like my person, in church, she would
Yeah.
she would ask us, or uh, she would give us a little half a stick of gum and tell us if we felt like we needed to move to twiddle our thumbs.
Nice.
So I again, like I am constantly reminded about the wisdom that she had. Like she was trying to like help us honor the space that we were in. We were in a holy sacred space. We can't be running around the aisles while people are trying to worship. Like I understand that. But she wasn't telling us to sit still necessarily. She was helping us concentrate. And it was this like, how many times can you like twiddle your thumbs is like this, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. Like how many times can you do it without touching the other thumb? Like, so she really helped us focus that nervous or that anxious energy by twiddling our thumbs. And I was like, I know she can hear me. I'm so grateful for that. I've always loved it, and I always go to that when I have nervous energy, and I do need to like rein it in because I'm somewhere where I can't be running around the aisles. But um I think that it's when we hear things like this, it helps us with the next generation and the generations that are coming behind. Because now, when I'm interacting with the littles, I look at them differently now, right? I look at the words that are spoken over them very differently. And I'm even more mindful than I was a year ago with this idea of, oppressing how they're doing life, right? How they're showing up. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's great. And she actually allowed you to keep moving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? She gave you an alternative to moving your whole body, but like at least you could keep moving, which that was part of what your body was wanting to do at the time. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was great. Go Grammy.
Yeah, go Grammy. Totally. I mean, and this is like super conservative Lutheran Minnesotan, right? But she innately knew something, right? She had access to some magic from our ancestors,
Grammy wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, seriously. Yeah. And I think that there is so much again to us reconnecting with our bodies. And I'm really excited. I know we don't want to tease too much about what's going to happen next week because we're in the middle of this, but Liz has agreed to come back next week to help us with actually walk us through an embodiment practice that will help shift that for us. And um, so before we go, we'll definitely get a little bit more from Liz on that. I would love, Christine and I had a conversation. Well, we've had dozens of conversations about them. Not just one or two, but dozens. But I know she's been reflecting deeply on the idea of independence and how that ties into how many of us feel in the season, especially when we're craving that rest, that time by the river, the space away, whether it's our own bedroom or our own house from our beloveds. Not that we don't love them, but that there is this coming home that is requiring this space. Christine, I'd love for you, if you're open to sharing what's been on your heart around
I
that.
mean, just to sort of touch on what so many of you have touched on. Uh, to be totally frank, I don't follow astrology. I don't live by the moon like Deborah. I'm extremely pragmatic, probably like to a fault. I'm a marketer without like that creative, like massive creative brain. I'm a very structured person, very organized person. So while a lot of this resonates with me, it also I need to be more grounded in it versus sort of like, in the stars with it. And I know Amy's over there smiling because we've spent numerous hours in the car talking about these kinds of things.
I just
Um,
called you an Englander. I go, that's why we are the way we are up here in the Northeast.
In the Northeast, I know Tammy can relate too. I mean, you're a martial artist. But what I will say is I'm a, close to 30-year yogi. I mean, and I think I probably lean into yoga, Tammy, the way you do with martial arts. It is a practice of, moving meditation. And so that is how I'm able to connect with my body and the feelings that are happening at the same time. And I've learned, over so many years that it is all connected. So I totally appreciate that, Liz. And yet I still struggle with the confusion around the disconnect of what's happening. And, I'm definitely postmenopausal now. I've had breast cancer. So I've had a lot of hormonal issues over the last 5 years. I'm raising a child. My parents are extremely needy right now. And yet I'm still pressuring myself to go, do. I feel like if I'm not, making the calls, doing the things, coordinating everything at the house, I am the CEO of my house and of my business, and I'm supporting my parents. And if I am not on it, then I'm failing on some level. And I said no to awesome females because it's not where I need to be. And that was a really hard decision for me to make. Really hard decision because I love the connection and the community building that I get through that event. But it's just not aligning with what I need at this point. So there are things like that are I don't know why I can't just let go of the guilt and the sadness that I'm not doing that. I want to sit by that goddamn river all the time. I want to be in downward dog most of the day. So sorry, the dog is barking. So there's this needing of I don't have the fire. I'm sorry, I'm totally rambling here. I don't have the fire to oh, what's my next chapter? I'm feeling that from you guys a bit. I don't have that. I have that. I need to deeply ground myself right now. And not worry about what's next for the first time in my life. Not worry about achieving. Simon. So
We can't hear him. We can't hear Simon.
Oh, you can't? Okay, good.
No. Yeah. Your mic is rad.
Yeah. So if I can let go of, that need for something else to come out of me, I don't want something else to come out of me. I just want to be who I am, so anyway, that's where I'm at.
That's just beautiful. It's beautiful. And I think that Liz spoke to that, right? There's going to be seasons where we feel the fire and other seasons where we're step back, get, everyone out of the room.
Totally. And that is the antithesis of who I am and who I've been. And so
that's I have to interject here. It just exactly where you're supposed to be. Right. It's the antithesis of who I've been. We're not supposed to be the same. And so I hear you, how you're struggling, how you're attached to that identity that you once were. And of course, I also am a big proponent to, we need to grieve in circles, in sisterhood, of the things that we're leaving behind. Every cycle of our life needs to be felt deeply. And there's always grief in every cycle, always. Our culture doesn't support this, but I want to just reflect to you that you are right on point. This is a time that being is more than the doing, but the being is going to give us the insight of what this next chapter is going to look like. What painting are we going to paint for our life landscape?
And I'm so frustrated that I don't know what it is. And
more time by the river.
Exactly. And I'm okay, you're not supposed to. And this is 30 years of yoga training will tell you, lean into it and let it show you, let it reveal itself.
It's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Okay, Amy, then Jennifer. What's going on, Amy? What's bursting out of you, darling?
First of all, Dr. Liz, great information. Christine, one of the things that you kind of made me remember, and I want to see how Dr. Liz weighs in on what you just said too. The grieving is so important, but for me, it's getting back to the sources of why I am the way I am. So I am that same way, but I had a dad that was very entrepreneurial and was always about the damn money. My dad made so much money, right? Lost it, got it, like big entrepreneurs, always about the money for me. I ended up going to a program. I was invited to this program called Resilient Minds. It's for first responders and policemen. And they want to bring it into the real estate industry because real estate agents are in the top 10 who commit suicide, believe it or not, in sales jobs. And in the course, we all expressed our trauma in our life. And, at first, the first responders were like, you're civilians. But by the time they heard the 5 realtors in the room talk about what we go through, we were all compadres. But what they did was they talked about skills to deal with the trauma. So that's been helping me, Dr. Liz, kind of like what Christine was saying, like, how do you get out of there? So it's not even for me the grieving, but it's like, what is still triggering all of this stuff that I never dealt with that makes people go and after 30 years of marriage, get divorced or not get divorced or change your life or all these crazy things. So I'm going to be quiet, but that I just wanted to share that if there is any parallel. And I know Jennifer wants to talk too, but if you could address that either today or next week, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And thank you, Christine, for being so open.
Mm. Mm.
Did you want me to respond or shall we let Christine go?
Jennifer.
Well, I think Liz, go for it, and then Jennifer will share. She's got something. I can feel it. She's got something that she wants to share. But I would love if you've got a response for Amy, and if the response is let's cover that next week or what we want to talk about next week, that's fine too. But this is a conversation. Go for it, girl.
I think it's just a quick response. This season that we're in as women, and you're getting all these triggers, right? You're getting activated and you're like, oh my God, like what's happening? This is the time where it's just like the deeper shadow work. If you haven't participated in shadow work or doing the emotional healing, but that's when they're all going to come up. They're all going to come up. And like for a lot of us will be like, oh my God, I self-sacrificed. Why did I do that? Oh my God, I did this. Why did I do that? And then the triggers, or maybe there's, trauma that you've experienced that hasn't been digested. If we don't digest, it lives as a trigger, right? So it's like that whole thing, you got to feel it to heal it, which is why I'm always about like the emotions are a full body experience. Once we feel it, we heal it. And we know that it's over when we can look back at the moment and it has no charge.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's beautiful. You've got to feel it to heal it. I love a good phrase like that. That's beautiful. Thank you, Liz. Jennifer, bursting with delight and big smiles, Jennifer.
I just love this conversation so much. It was like, there's just so many juicy parts, and thank you, Liz, so much for what you shared. Um, and it's like I don't even know where to start because I've been listening when I couldn't be on there, and I have like all these things. Um, but I really love how much we're learning about ourselves and getting more in sync, and how much science and like quantum mechanics and neuroscience is so much supporting so many old teachings, right? Like it just so much reaffirms that. And it feels like so much in our society now, we're seeing how we've lost sight of and starting to reclaim these monumental initiatory phases. Like there are like part of my big thing with astrology is it's the study of time cycles. And the planets work like clockwork. There are particular aspects and things that happen when, so many people have heard about their Saturn return, right? When you're 30, it's why turning 30 is such a big deal. And you actually like move into becoming an adult. You take stock of your life and you move into becoming an adult, where be like in your 20s, you're still kind of a provisional adult, right? And we forget that it happens again when you're 60, right? And then that then gives us our 3 phases of life. And we don't celebrate stepping into our wisdom and like stepping into an owning of a crone. And it's a thing that everyone goes through at about the same age. There's some wiggle room, but it still happens at a particular age. And there's this like when you get your Chiron return, and it's that kind of thing of like, well, I might be broken, but I'm broken perfectly. So like whatever. And it's like when we begin to do it consciously, and it's not just life coming at us, right? And you lean into the cycle, and it's like the stuff with the body shows up with all the stuff that happens at all the other levels. It's incredible. And I can just like, I can hear everyone talking, and I'm just like, oh, well, that's this thing. And that happens at this point in life. And like, you know, the beauty of some of the things in my own journey right now, of stepping into myself, of like, there's like this great quote from Werner Erhard that sounds kind of funny, but I think it really gets it. It's like, I used to be different, but now I'm the same. Right? It's like it looks like I've changed on the outside, but I'm more myself than I've ever been, because life is too bleeping short to try to be anyone else other than like who I am, and do it in my way. Like you were saying, it's like we're not supposed to do it the same. There are some of us who are supposed to have like it be a bodily experience. And for some of us it's different. And all like the synchronicities of the universe, and what happened, like what showed up in class last night, and what was coming through when I was trying to write for the full moon, and what's coming through today. It's like, how do we rewrite our stories? Right? 'Cause
Well, what I hear when you're saying this, Jinnifer, is that like we are at a time where we're curious and we have connection to people who can help us see the science in the ether, right? Who can help, who are connecting science with spirituality, who are connecting spirituality and soulfulness with strategy. And so there is this merging of what we've all kind of had a craving for, and there's reasons behind it. It's not the, oh, that's the soft thing.
Yeah.
It's the soft thing. It's actually not soft. Well, we're talking about neuroscience or even the science behind astrology isn't soft. It actually is very, very deep and intense. We've just heard through decades and decades that, we should stay away from it. It's scary, it's not real, whatever. And so I think that there is kind of there's a common thread with that as well, as I feel like there's a lot of women who are, maybe curious, maybe not fully hungry for it or ready to eat that big old plate of pasta, but they're curious about what's in it. Right. Like they're curious about it. And I think that that's so fun. I mean, it's so fun. I did write a blog recently over on the Collective blog about sacred milestones and reimagining them. And I feel like that's something that we can do inside here, right? Like we can celebrate. We don't have to only celebrate when we get married with the bridal shower and the wedding and all the things that come along with that. We can also celebrate menopause. We can celebrate perimenopause, our first hot flash. Like there are other things that we can celebrate, right? And I mean, can you imagine the fun we could have, not only ourselves, but inspiring the next generation to do these really wild, like the midlife parties, because we aren't done. We're so far from not being done. I feel like sometimes we have more in our lives than ever, more than in our 30s, more than in our 40s. Oh, yeah. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Wisdom.
We like celebrate. I mean, in some ways a little bit less, but there's some, it's like we celebrate when we start our menses, right? And there's like, oh, you're beginning to become a woman, but there's not the same celebration when menopause happens. And I think it's just such a cool thing to actually look forward to and celebrate. It's like I'm not there yet, but it's inkling in my future, not too far along down the road. And I'm like, oh, this is exciting. And how can I turn that into a party? And I just keep coming back to like with emotion, that energy and motion, and how important it is to let it flow and listen to our bodies and get in sync with ourselves. I keep coming back to, it's like, that we can't be behind, that we're always right in time. And although it's like, I'm going back to the thing with, my profession and what I do, it's like, it's not making the thing happen. It's just revealing what's going on. Right. And it's just so neat to be able to go, it's like, okay, we're always right in sync and so perfectly. And as soon as we're conscious about it, however we get conscious about it, we can then steer our experience and rewrite the story and not just do it automatically. So I'm just so excited to be here in this whole conversation and how it all converges. Like it's just all like different facets of the same diamond.
I love that so much. Okay, before I get us to the point where we're going to close the circle, Liz, what's on your heart? Like what I feel like you're receiving a divine download over there. You're kind of swaying, your eyes just shut and fluttered open. Like what what's on your heart for before we close today? And then if you want to kind of give us an idea of what's going to happen next week, that'd be amazing.
Okay. What's on my heart? Let's see. What's on my heart is that this journey for every woman is such an individual path. And I think that one of the real work for all of us to do together is to approve of it, approve of it all. The zigs, the zags, the ups and the downs, and am I doing it right? Am I just checking out? Like all of that, just approve of all of it. And give ourselves that like loving soul approval that this is where I am. It might not look like hers, but this is where I am. So I would say that's what's on my heart. Just because I'm feeling the just like, all of us have such a different experience. Every woman. That's what makes us so delicious. We're all just so different, and the same too,
Yeah.
And as far as next week, yes, next week I'm going to take us on an embodied journey. I'm going to give you an opportunity to experience your life force in a different way as a source of creation, as a source of deeper embodiment, and as a source of truth. So I'm going to take us on a journey next week. I can't wait. It's like one of my favorite things to do because my work is so centric around soul and body and women being embodied, that's the sauce, That's what I'll be doing next week.
I love that. Just watching you talk about it, like, gets me excited about it. Oh, sisters, another incredibly divine conversation. Let's honor what's been shared today. Let's, as you walk back into life after this, think about the truths that were spoken and send love to the women who bravely shared what was on their hearts, what they were thinking about and what they shared. Honor the sparks that may have been ignited in yourself, whether that's doing some journaling or record your voice memo to remind yourself of what came up for you. But that there's sacred rememberings happened here today. I saw it in the chat. I saw it in the nods. So make sure that you take a moment to reflect on that and think about what did your soul hear that it needed, right? That's the question. Like, what did my soul hear that it needed today? And, when I think about everything that's been shared today, I feel like what's coming for me is we're not broken. We're blooming.
Yes.
We're blooming. And it's that wild, when you're watching the fast capture of a bud opening, how there is this like, it feels like, oh my gosh, you just want to help it. I just want to peel back the little pieces and I want to help you little. No, I know. Don't touch the flower when it's blooming. And I feel like that's it, that we're not late. We are right on time and that we're not too much. And we are the medicine we've been waiting for. We know it. And so I'm so grateful for all of you for showing up. Thank you so much for sharing your light. And remember, this is the place to bring your stories. This is the place to bring your voice, to test your voice, even if it's only a whisper today. It's the place. And that our sisterhood is growing in such a beautiful and intentional way that I'm so grateful for the sisters that each of you are bringing to the table. So I'm going to sit in sheer gratitude and excitement today for this conversation that we're sparking, that I'm believing will be woven through every conversation going forward in some way, shape, or form. So with love and intention, we close our circle, darlings. I will see you next Thursday for a delicious embodiment guide.